I stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude. I would like to express my profound appreciation for the countless blessings that have graced our lives. In this fast paced world, it's important to pause and reflect on the things we often take for granted. Okay, before getting into material, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Octora Valda Ardinata from English Education Department and Teacher Training Education Faculty Slamet Riyadi, Surakarta. Okay, first of all, I would explain material about language and parallel in linguistics. Before getting into language and parallel material, I would explain about what is linguistics. Sorry. Okay, the first I will introduction about this material. Language is complex system of communication used by humans to convey meaning in linguistics. In linguistics, the concept of language and parallel are used to understand the structure and use of language. This presentation will explore the difference between language and parallel in the context of English language. Okay, explanation about linguistics. Linguistics is study of language. Knowledge of linguistics, however, is different from knowledge of language. A speaker can use language without any conscious knowledge of its internal structure. Conversely, a linguist can now understand the internal structure of a language without actually speaking it. A linguist then is not an individual who speaks grammar. The social and psychological aspect of language use and the relationship among language both historical and present day. Basically, linguistics is important for even in Indonesian too. Okay, I will explain about language. The first, language refers to the underlying structure or system of a language. It encompasses the rules, grammar, syntax, vocabulary that govern a particular language. Language is shared among the speaker of a language community and exists independently. Okay. And the characteristic of language. The first is universal. Language is universal within a language community, providing a common framework for communication. 2. Abstract. It is an abstract system of rules that exists in the minds of speakers. The 3. Stable. Language evolves slowly over time and relatively stable within a given period. Okay, example of language in linguistics. English grammar rules, subject, verb, agreement, tenses, sentence, and structure. Okay. Vocabulary, words, idiom, and phrases that are commonly understood within the English-speaking community. Okay, pronunciation, the phonetic system of English, including phonemes, and the stress pattern. Okay, the second I will explain about parallel. Parallel refers to the actual use or application of language by individual or speakers. It involves the concrete manifestation of language through the speech, writing, signing, or other form of expression. Parallel is the observable and variable aspect of language use. Okay, the characteristic of parallel. Individual. Parallel is individualistic, varying from the person to person based on their personal experience, background, and linguistic competence. Okay, the second is contextual. Parallel is influenced by situational factors as social norms, audience, and purpose of communication. The three is dynamic. Parallel is dynamic and constantly changing. Reflection, the creativity and adaptability of language user. Okay, example parole in English. The first is conversation, spontaneous dialogues, discussion, and interaction between individuals. Right. The second, written text, books, article, emails, letter, and anything written form of English communication. I'm sorry. Speech styles, formal presentation, informal chats, interview, speeches, and monologues. Okay, because language and parole can separate, because this two thing is very important. So you can separate these two, parole between parole and language. Okay, relation between language and parole. Language and parole are independent of aspects of language. Language provides the rules and structure, while parole actualize those roles in individual usage. The three, language influence parole by setting the boundaries and possibility for communication. Okay, conclusion. Language is a multifaceted system that involves both language and parole. Understanding the distinction between language and parole helps us to comprehend the structure, variation, and dynamic of language. The last is, by studying the language and parole, we gain insight into the complexity and richness of the English language. Okay. Uh okay guys, I think that's all. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and stay hydrated. See you.